Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're about to start a series on the game Loom. Now, Loom is an interesting game because it had three drastically different versions that came out over the course of 1990, 1991, and 1992. And only one of them is really available for purchase on Steam, and that's the latest version, the CD-ROM talkie version, and then the slightly better version is the FM Towns version, which you can find through a discussion post on the Steam version and find a way to download that for free. Or you can just do a quick Google search and find it from potentially illegal sources to find the original EGA version, each of which are slightly, well, moderately, no, I would say drastically different. And arguably the EGA version is the best one to play, but I'm going to start with the talkie version. That saves us a little time having to read. But I am going to be using the ScumVM launcher that's newer, so it will look a little bit better than if I just click play on the Steam game. And if you just click play, you have to hit Alt-Enter to go into full screen mode and all of that. I will be using high quality 3x graphics mode, which will just take one pixel and make it a 3x3 grid of pixels, and then it will blend the edges together to make it look a little bit smoother, and everything else will be the same. And that's kind of all we need to comment on right now. Because if you're more interested in the differences between this game, I released a video earlier describing the differences, so go check that one out. So let's begin.
Please choose your skill level.
Now, this game is based around musical skill, and I'm going to choose expert, and I may very well come to regret that.
Welcome to the age of the great guilds.
So this is a hard fantasy story. We'll get into it more later. Enjoy the music where it plays on the CD-ROM version, because it doesn't play anywhere as often as it does in the original version. It goes very quiet, which is strange, considering this game is all about music. Notice that these birds, or whatever they are disappearing behind the text of Loom, and you can only see through the letters of Loom to see the animals. And we're going to get a prompt here that can't be avoided, asking if we want these subtitles through the emulator.
Rise, son of Signa. It is the dawn of your 17th year. The elders await you in the sanctuary.
I've never known them to weave such a bright messenger nymph. I wonder why the elders want to see me. I'd better get down to the village.
So it's worth pointing out here, so this is the ScumVM emulator asking me this, that if you are actually deaf, and this is where subtitles should always by default focus at first, is you have to hit F9 twice to see the text, and I do want to see the text. If you were actually deaf and couldn't hear, then you literally have no idea what you're supposed to do right now, because the game didn't put up any text to say he needs to get to the village. That being said, this is a pretty simple game, so I think they can figure it out. So we can click on things with the left click mouse. This is a point click adventure, but
The last leaf of autumn.
you have to double click on it. Honestly, let's look at the sky.
It's dawn.
So you could potentially argue that this might be almost like a hidden object game too. Hidden object games being sort of like point and click adventures, because there will be things you need to find. And for instance, the sky, I did not recognize that it was here originally. So as we move over to different areas, it's probably helpful. Worth pointing out too that in the full screen part, there's a lot missing. This will be where your interface comes in later. You can see the mouse does go almost all the way. Of course, it is 4:3 ratio, square TV. Can't really do too much about that. So, for a music game, it's amazing how quiet this is. Even at the very beginning. Like, you would expect more. And so, we need to get to the city. Is this the city is a good question. When we hover over something, we can apparently click on it or look.
Don't these people ever clean up after themselves?
And that's different dialogue. I don't know. It's actually longer dialogue than what was in the original game. So it seems odd that they would put rewrites in it that are longer.
Wonderful. I can't see a thing.
So I can see that there's some darkness here, so maybe I need some fire. Although we need to more just to get to the main part of the story. So we've got a potion. So what's interesting there is that was something important.
That's the book of patterns. I already know what's in it.
So we're going to learn patterns. And when you originally bought Loom, you had an actual printed book of patterns that came with it. Every pattern is necessary.
This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
It was needed to...
This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
To play songs, and 4-letter songs. So we just heard a 4-letter song. And because I'm in hardcore mode, that may have been the only time I'm going to get to hear that pattern, that green flask, which probably means to dye wool. And it also probably means I'm not going to get the book of patterns and be able to reference that, which on hardcore this probably means a terrible thing. This tent is way too big. And here we go. So slight color difference here from here. This is one of the choices in the
There's
remake.
The long tapestry. I don't remember it looking so old and frayed.
So
the threads describe the creation of the world and the passing of the two shadows.
A lot of this fantasy is based off of the idea of the Loom of Fate, which I believe was a Greek myth where all people's fate was sewn together and the thread of fate was loomed together and either cursed or blessed people. And so these people that we're playing as us, and him and his friends, are going to be weavers who weave the threads of fates and can do all kinds of magic because of that, to change reality around them. And so it's quite an out there fantasy story compared to what we usually see these days. We're so used to the J.R. Tolkien-esque style of telling a story where it's orcs and ogres and hobbits and rings of power and magical spells and wards, which there's still some of that, certainly in this game, but this is telling something slightly different.
Here's more of the tapestry. The pattern shows the entire history of the weavers, back to the founding of the great guilds.
And I really don't see a reason why you wouldn't want the text on here so you could read along. But that is quite a short amount of dialogue. And here we have the frayed edges, which is either what's happening right now or the end of the world. We'll see.
The last section tells about the decline of the guilds. There's a third shadow gathering. That's strange. The end is completely torn off.
So we kind of now know the backstory and what's going to happen. So one of the things that we'll notice is in the original version...
And the elders don't look at all pleased with her.
You have heard the findings of this council, Dame Hetchel. Have you anything to say in your own
I
defense?
think turned her into a girl.
My actions
Or they
speak
turned
for
some
themselves.
character into a girl.
Reckless defiance is intolerable. Any secret you share with Signa's son might be turned against us.
His talent is awakening, and the power is very strong in him. We dare not desert him now.
Stubborn old fool! Who are you to decide such things?
Enough, Lachesis. Hetchel, I am grieved to see your many years of service end in such disgrace.
My destiny is yours to weave.
Hetchel, the fabric of your life has been woven by your own choices.
Gaze once more upon the great loom, if you would know your ultimate destiny. For that destiny is now upon you.
A swan's egg. What does it mean?
Something is deeply wrong. That draft has never failed before.
What is that noise? Outside!
The guild is under attack.
Who dares to desecrate the great loom of the weavers?
This is the work of that demon boy. We should kill him while we still can.
Your name will be cursed forever, son of Signa, loom child, Bobbin, thread.
My name? But I had nothing to do with this. Wait, where are you going? No explanations. No goodbyes. And once again, I'm left behind.
So his name's Bobbin Threadbare, which is quite the pun, and notice how the audio just cut off right there. It seems so ridiculous that the game literally couldn't go as long as its own dialogue, even with the dialogue changed. So that was a weave we just heard. We hopefully would be able to know it. They try to keep it color-coded to be slightly helpful too, but we'll see if I can pull it off. Let's pick up this egg. Yellow, red, yellow, red, orange.
Egg, it's trying to open.
And see, they're quite magical because they can turn themselves into...
It's heavier than it looks.
So I pick up this staff, and this staff will eventually allow me to play the songs. Let's see if I can do it now. Yellow, red, yellow, red.
Egg, it's trying to open. That thread's too high for me.
So we red, yellow. So here we go. Yellow, red, red.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So you have to do it in order, and I am in expert mode, so it's not helping me. Normally there's a background that shows you the letter and tells you what to do, and I think I probably won't need it, but we'll see if we can pull this off. Yellow, red, yellow, red.
I don't think I spun that right.
That's green.
That thread's too high for me.
And there's only 3 of them. Let's look at this then. White, green, blue, red.
Those are the same 4 threads spun by the elders. They're still echoing in the loom. That thread's too high for me.
And see,
That thread's too high for me.
green, yellow, red. Sometimes, in some of the versions of the game, you can
Guess that
do
isn't a
things
draft.
backwards, and that might work. So, what if I instead tried red, yellow, red, yellow?
I don't think I spun that right. The egg, it's trying to open.
So what am I doing wrong?
The egg is opening.
Apparently I was supposed to just walk away.
There's my boy.
What's happening? The whole village has flown away without us.
I figured that I was supposed to
The
do
moment
it.
you came into this world, Bobbin, great and terrible things have been happening. The elders hoped that your birth was the cause of it.
Why would the elders want to get rid of me? I'm such an awful weaver that they never even let me study with the others.
They fear you, Bobbin. When the swan arrived, they were already trying to weave the same draft on you that they had worked on me. But the draft turned against them. It means only one thing, that the pattern is failing of its own accord.
No. Can't it be stopped?
Stop chaos? The only thing to do is embrace it and turn ourselves into creatures of shadow, or plan our escape.
Escape? To where?
I don't know. But if we are to survive, we must find out where that flock has flown and join them if we can.
And then the audio
You've
cuts off.
already found Atropos's distaff. Good. You won't be able to weave very much with it at first, but as you practice, its true power will be revealed to you. It's time to leave this island, Loom child. Your destiny lies beyond the sunset, across the sea.
Mother Hetchel, where are you going?
Goodbye, Bobbin. I must follow the swans.
Into a different dimension,
This is
apparently.
a fine mess. Everybody's gone and I still don't understand what's going on. Why
Probably
do they
not
keep calling
alone.
me Loom child. Nobody's ever let me anywhere near a loom.
And see, there's just a disappointing performance going on here with the audio. And it's a little weird too. They're talking about weaving, but then they're doing music. And so it's two very separate things. Like, I think probably the better thing would have been to leave the loom name and the weaving and all of that out and just had it been music writing or musical scoring. I don't know if you could have called the game score, and gotten a trademark on it in 1990, but that's really what this is. It's musical scoring at an expert level. And very, very strange for any adventure game to have me do what I am pretty sure was the right answer and it not work. So what we need to do is learn the die spell, and then a lot of this adventure is going to come directly from the idea of finding more drafts or spells, as you'd call them, and using that to do more things. So there might be another hatch reason, a reason to use hatch as a spell, so we should remember it. Can I pick this up now? No, I can't even click on it. Interesting. Let's try this.
It's still dripping. What a mess.
Green, green.
This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
Let's see.
I guess that isn't a draft. That thread's too high for me.
And so you really are going to have to listen to the audio, aren't you? I think hardcore mode's too hard for me. I wish I could change it.
It's still dripping. What a mess.
Green. Maybe it's 3 greens and a red.
This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
No, that's not right.
I guess that isn't a draft. I guess that isn't a draft.
I may just not be able to do
This
it yet.
wall hasn't been dyed yet. Grass green. I hate that colour.
Maybe this is a different spell.
This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
That's definitely a different song. Okay.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So this and red, then yellow. Red, then yellow. We actually did it.
The colour changed. Ugh, green again. This wall hasn't been dyed yet.
So we'll keep dying. I guess I shouldn't call these colors and just listen to the audio and see if I can do things that way.
Ugh, green again.
So if I do this, let's see what happens.
I don't think I spun that right.
Nope, I didn't. Oddly, this is the main interaction instead of point and click things.
Well, that draft didn't seem to do much good.
It just changed it to green again. Usually in something in a point and click adventure, you'd have things like open, push, pull, pick up, look at, talk to, give, take, verbs like that. Instead, they have this. Let's see what happens if we play this song backwards. So it would be this, this, then this, this. Which spelled backwards should be this, 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 and this.
That must not be the right draft.
So it just doesn't work.
Grass green. I hate that colour.
Let's try it here. I suppose I kind of get the idea of...
There. Looks much better in white.
Of taking something like a game like this and trying to teach a new style of gameplay and try and teach music. And it certainly, when trying to teach music, it might make a little bit of sense to not have background songs playing.
Nothing. That draft doesn't seem to work on pots.
It's kind of surprising that the backward versions of songs would even work, but that is kind of the power of the ScumVM engine, is you can quickly and easily make things work.
Looks much better in white.
Then... Just turn everything white. Why not?
Looks much better in white.
So I'm just practicing, really.
There. Looks much better in white.
And I guess there's nothing else to do here. It's kind of weird. But the fact that the original game had this background music and it was this lovely, really well done orchestral music seems strange. So we can turn the gold into white, I suppose. We can see what happens at least.
That must not be the right draft.
So maybe I could turn it green.
That must not be the right draft.
So we are going to have to decide and find the right solution before we bother to do the spell. Of course, I'm also going to have to remember the spell. And I suppose if I really do need to cheat, I could save the file and see if I choose the difficulty, because there's no way to change it, right? Under options? Nope, I don't think there would be a way. Alright, let's talk to the goal and see what they have to say.
I guess that isn't a draft.
These are starting off pretty easy.
Guess that isn't a draft.
So this...
That thread's too high. That thread's...
So
that
everything
thread's
that's
too,
higher
that thread's too,
up to
that
these
thread's too high
points
for me.
will require more and be more difficult spells. Let's look at this clam. And see, normally you'd think you just pick it up or do something, but not here.
That didn't help at all.
No, turning it green or dyeing it didn't help. and jump in the water apparently doesn't help. It's kind of hard to tell where the exits and entrances of some of these things. This is a very, very early LucasArts game. Very, very, very early. And we've gone 30 minutes, and because this entire game is only supposed to take about 3 hours, depending on how confused and lost you are, we're 1/6 of the way done with the entire game, according to that. So I can save. Nice saves. We'll just put a number 1 there. And Loom saved successfully. And that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.